is kind of that energetic base, because I feel like, somebody that can be stereotypically beautiful, energy can do a lot to that one way or the other, and vice versa.
Welcome to the Beauty Talk podcast, where we feature how the best medical practitioners help their patients to look better, younger, and healthier. Now enjoy the show, and here's your host.
Daniel Gao here. I'm the host of Beauty Talk. We feature the top practitioners in health and beauty, both inside and out. I have Tonie Lough, a certified postpartum corrective exercise specialist with over 13 years in personal training, and also the co-founder of Solvita Wellness Spa in Tigard, Oregon. Her background has always been rooted in corrective movement and nervous system health, basically helping people feel good in their bodies, whatever that looks like for them. Opening Solvita was a natural extension of that, bringing together services that support recovery and overall well-being under one roof. So Tonie, welcome and glad to have you here.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me here.
Yeah, so let's start off from the very beginning. What first got you interested in the wellness field?
It was really just a journey of my own. I think that, probably is generally the case. Just trying to get healthier, trying to get stronger, honestly, on my own. Before I started personal training, I had hired a personal trainer and just had a lot of fun. And so I decided to go into that industry and learned a lot about the body and its capabilities, and was just constantly amazed, honestly, throughout my personal training as I got, more certified in the postpartum stuff and learning more about, again, just the healing capabilities of the body. Mm-hmm. And it almost is like, with training and with all this stuff, with the wellness stuff, if we almost just get out of our own way and just let the body do its thing, it really knows what it's doing, which is pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm. Now, you specialize more, you mentioned the postpartum part also in your introduction. So how did you get specifically into that? Was that part of your own journey? Because that's very specific type of just like personal training. I've never thought of postpartum personal training or wellness. So can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, again, that was part of my own personal journey in the postpartum for sure. And I thought that as I became stronger from personal training, that it would take care of any postpartum issues that were kind of lingering around. And at the same time, I started working at a box gym around here, which is, just one of the bigger gyms. It was like a resort spa type of thing. And I was training all these women that were having the exact same issues that I was. So I was like, okay, if all of these women are having the same postpartum issues as far as like core and pelvic floor issues, there's got to be an answer. And so I started looking more to this more specific certifications. I got my first one while I was working there and started on my second one while I was working there. And I really kind of call that my internship. Like I saw so many women so often throughout the day and was able to put a lot of it to practice and saw the results, saw myself having results and saw these women having results. And the interesting thing actually that's part of it that shouldn't stay just in the postpartum, and it's starting to branch out more, is that so much of it just comes down to like breathing and posture. And so I started giving a workshop for breathing and posture and being able to grow my business a little bit that way. And so, that was my journey into the postpartum world.
Got it. Now you started the business, Solvita Wellness Spa. Talk about that. What caused you to decide to start your own business?
Actually, my business partner was a lot of the inspiration behind it. He is in painting and remodeling and has been for 35 years, had his own business. But, we talked a lot about health and wellness and, I talked a lot about personal training and health and wellness and breathing and posture, and I had also gone through a mold detox a few years ago. And so I got into red light therapy and sauna and saw the benefits of that and just overall detox and how good it is for the body and how necessary it is for the body. And so got him on some detox protocols. Anyway, so he found this space, this beautiful location that we're in, because he does a lot of work in this area. And I did the business plan about a year ago, and it took a little bit to get everything figured out, but we finally opened just about 3 or 4 months ago. So really it was just kind of a merging of our, like this wellness thing. It's necessary, we all need it. So let's build a space where we can build a community and people can come and get healthy and get calm and relaxed and detox and all that good stuff.
Got it. Okay. So now I want to dive a little bit deeper into some of the treatments you provide. I want to talk about the sauna. Basically, what is the benefits of sauna? You talked a little bit about detox, but also specifically infrared and traditional sauna. I think people who don't know much about sauna is like, well, a sauna is just a hot box, like infrared or traditional. I don't know the difference. So could
Yeah.
you also talk about that? What's the difference between infrared and traditional as well?
Sure. Well, and we do offer both. We've got one infrared and then we've got two of the traditional. We really double down on the traditional. The benefits are for both of them are similar. They use slightly different mechanisms. So the infrared actually penetrates down to the cellular level a little bit more specifically. Essentially, it's shaking the water at the cellular level, which helps disperse things that shouldn't be there. Like, that's the detox mechanism there. And then the traditional is more the ambient heat, and it's definitely hotter. So infrared traditionally is 130 to 150 degrees, whereas the traditional is 170 to 200 degrees. So the infrared was invented, my understanding, 30, 40 years ago for those that knew traditional was good for them, but just are heat intolerant for any number of reasons, right? And so anyway, the study that made us so that we have two, that we decided we have two of the traditional, it's a JAMA study that was a very robust study, over 20 years meta-analysis of over 2,000 people. And in Finland, everybody has a sauna, right? And they use it very, very regularly, 1 to 4 or even 7 times a week. And they found that when somebody used it 4 times a week, 19 minutes a day, they had, I believe it was like 40% reduction in all-cause mortality. So that's anything that could kill you, and almost 60% reduction in cardiac issues.
Wow.
Like, you don't see statistically significant is typically under like 10%. Like, these numbers are just astronomical. And again, it was a really good study. It wasn't, 9 months of 30 people. It was over the course of 20 years. And this also, I believe, even accounted for things like smoking and bad eating and all this stuff. Like, as long as they used the sauna 4 times a week, they had these reductions. And that study, I believe it was done sometime in the last 10 or 15 years, but it got a lot of popularity over the last few years, which is why sauna is really starting to pop up. But as long as you're challenging your system with the heat or with cold, your system it's a good stress for your system, and it helps to make you get all of those benefits of the all-cause mortality and the cardiac. Also, brain health, mental health. There's actually some really good research, even because it helps to calm the nervous system. It's very soothing to the nervous system. And so there's just so many benefits. It's so vast. And it's, they're even comparing it to working out at this point. And there's a lot of people out there that would go, sitting in a sauna or working out, sauna wins every time, right?
Yeah.
So as long as you're doing one of those two things, I'm happy.
Got it. Okay. So, and when you talk about it being a stressor, I guess it's basically doing the same thing that you would in a workout. You basically are lifting weights, running, breaking down the muscle so that when it comes back, it builds back stronger. It's the same concept with the sauna. You're kind of putting your body under stress so that when it comes back stronger, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. And
So,
it's natural ability. So it's a little bit different mechanism in that you are detoxing. So, but you are still raising your heart rate. So for both of them, you're raising your heart rate. But with the heat, again, it's kind of shaking that cell. And so it's detoxing the cell so that the healing that the body knows to do can take place. And in the working out, you're raising the heart rate, but you are challenging the muscles a little bit differently. But again, the healing that has to take place after that is what's really good for the body.
Okay. Now I want to switch over to red light therapy because I think when people who's not so familiar with these recovery methods, they think, oh, well, I'm in a sauna. Maybe I see some red light in there. So isn't it kind of the same thing as infrared sauna? So could you explain what is the difference between red light therapy and also what's the benefits of red light therapy?
Yeah. So there's a ton. Thankfully red light therapy is coming up right behind sauna with all the research. And they are different in that, like, so our infrared, it is a full spectrum. It's got near, far, and just red light. But it's definitely different than our red light therapy bed that you lay down on these panels. We've got the bottom panel and the upper panel. It was very important to us that people were able to lay down in our bed so they can actually relax. And so you just see a lot more benefit when you're able to actually lay down and relax. So the red light bed does not have the heat component that the infrared does. So the infrared with the far infrared is going to give off, the infrared's on, is that's where you're going to get a lot of the heat. So our red light bed does not have the far infrared. It's got two wavelengths. It's got 660, which is your bright red light. That's the light you see. And then the 850 is a near infrared. So it gives off just a little bit of heat, nothing like the far infrared. But those two wavelengths still carry amazing benefits. The red light on its own is good for collagen. It's kind of more that topical skin layer for wrinkles, cell turnover at the top level. And then 850, that near infrared, the one that does give off just a little bit of a heat, it penetrates deeper. It goes down to the bones and the joints. And that's where we're seeing people, we've got clients coming in here for arthritis. They said it helps their arthritis. We've had several people now come in with active muscular pain, back pain, SI joint pain, neck pain, and feel better even from one session. And I'm not necessarily saying that it's a cure-all. It's going to really depend on what caused the pain, right? The muscular pain, as far as if it can actually make it just go away when used consistently over a period of time. But at least it gives these people something to feel a little bit better until they are able to get to whatever modality, like, the person with the SI joint pain going to the physical therapist, the person with the low back pain going to the chiropractor, because for example, the SI joint, the gentleman came in here and was like, I'm going to cut off this leg. It is so painful. And he was able to leave with that being relieved. Wow. So there's just a ton of benefits. There's even benefits they're finding out for brain health and Alzheimer's because the red light oxygenates the cell. It also stimulates ATP, which is your energy source of the cell. And that healthy cell travels through the body, including through the brain. And so you're just getting a healthier cell through the brain, which is what is needed in all of our brains, but in particular in one with any kind of brain issues.
Okay. Now, when it comes to the red light therapy, is it something, because you mentioned like it's I guess, for lack of a better word, healing the cells, and then that cell kind of goes throughout your body. So, and you mentioned you have a bed for it, but I think people who know a little bit about red light therapy, they see like these panels that you can put in your home. But do you need to have the light shining on your entire body for however long the session is? Or if it's on one side and they'll kind of clean up those cells and those cells will kind of go through the rest of the body, like, is it okay to kind of have it just on one side of your body?
It will penetrate. Absolutely. Now for and I do also want to say that the at-home ones, they absolutely have a good place. You can use them more every day. They're lower, generally speaking, are lower what's called irradiance, and that's the intensity of the bed. In a commercial setting, you typically have a higher irradiance. So like all of our other sessions are 30 minutes, but our red light bed is only a 12-minute, because if you go over that, then it's essentially too much of a good thing. And your body has to work too hard still to get back to that kind of homeostasis. But and I will let people know they can dress down to their comfort level, because it will go through clothes. So it will go through this system, through the body. So if you do just have one panel, it's better than none, right? So I'm certainly not saying that, or an at-home panel, it doesn't have to hit the whole body. It's better in this case if you're looking for that whole body relief with the real oxygenating and getting energy into the cell. Absolutely, it's going to be better if the whole body is exposed. But I mean, we're finding there's research on thyroid health and just holding a red light therapy right here. There's people that have, kids that have earaches, and they'll just hold it on their ear for 20 minutes or whatnot. Like everything, there's always going to be a balance. So I do definitely suggest that people do any research on whatever equipment that they are using. Like, I'm not saying just go throw your kid under a red light panel for 8 hours a day. That's not acceptable. So do some research, but there benefit in all of those. As long as it's a red light panel, you're going to be seeing a certain amount of benefit for sure.
Okay, that's really good to know then. Now, I want to talk about buccal massage. I don't know if many people really know what that is or even heard that name before, but what is buccal massage and what's the benefit of it?
Yeah, so many benefits to that. What's interesting about that is that it's still actually marketed as a natural facelift. So that is, the people that are teaching it, it's an intraoral massage, first of all, I should say. And they do the scalp, they do the jaw, they do the neck and the neckline as well. and get some lymph drainage through here, which is really important for everything. And so if you release the muscles, like the cheek muscles, and they plump up, it's going to pull the face up. That's the natural facelift part of it. That's the original intent. However, like our practitioner here, she's been a relaxation massage therapist for 15 years. And she said she's using it with her clients that have chronic neck and shoulder pain because of all the tight junctions that can happen through here. And they're seeing relief. So these are people that have had chronic pain for many years that are seeing relief from this. And is the connection for a pelvic floor as well, because there is a connection between your jaw and your pelvic floor, that from birth, they came from the same tissue and then rolled out. So one went to your jaw and one went to your pelvic floor. And so she's finding that her clients that have pelvic floor issues, some of those are being relieved with something like the buccal massage. So it's amazing. It's so much more wide ranging. And I am honestly at this point marketing it more for the chronic neck and shoulder pain and the other things that it can be used for. And the natural facelift is just a side effect at this point, because those are the people that need the help. I'm all about looking pretty and younger, and I think that's fantastic. But the chronic pain, gosh, when you're in chronic pain, everything is harder. Everything.
Now, we talked about quite a few of these different types of recovery methods and we can do to help your body overall. So I guess, how would you look at taking care of the entire body and how that relates to your overall beauty?
Sure. So one of the main things that I say through here is I want everything to be a hug to your nervous system. So when your nervous system, we've all been really ramped up. The studies have been done since COVID. We've just been stayed at this kind of more ramped up state. So not only is everything harder, it's harder to work out. It's harder to think about anything forward facing, right? Because you're stuck in like a chronic stress level. And so once we bring the nervous system down, it absolutely reflects through your face, through your skin, through your attitude, through your energy. You have that energy to go do other things, to either, focus on something like your beauty, if that's what you'd like, or even just, go for a run, go out playing in the sun, do things that bring you joy is absolutely going to affect the look of our skin and our face for sure.
Now, when it comes to misconceptions or myths, I'm sure you've heard a lot, maybe from your clients, maybe just kind of in general, but what would you say is the most common misconceptions or myths you hear when it comes to these types of treatments?
That they're woohoo. I think a lot of people don't understand, a lot of these have been researched really well, and the benefits are so wide ranging that so many people could honestly use them. You don't have to just be concerned about your heart, or you don't have to just be concerned about your nervous system. Like, whatever you have, one of these things is probably going to help in some regard. Again, even if it's just through the nervous system. That's the goal. I want people to be coming in here so excited, coming in for their session. And this is generally what happens. People walk in the door going, oh, I'm so excited for my day here. I was looking forward to this. And then they leave with this like calm, happy look, like just relaxed, restful look. And I almost feel like we should have like a bed up here or another room. We've been asked, actually, do you guys have another room where I can go and take a nap? And a lot of these things actually also help with sleep. So if you have insomnia or waking up wired and tired, a lot of these things will help you to have more deep and restful sleep, which again affect that nervous system, mental health, affect all things health, and affect your beauty and your skin for sure.
Okay. So let's say, because you did talk a little bit about the sleep part of it, but I guess what would be the major, I guess I'll call it symptoms that people would be experiencing or maybe struggling with, or maybe that's bothering them, where it's like, okay, these treatments can help you with that. Because I think we talked a lot about the health benefits of it, but I think people may be confused as far as well, how do I know I really need it? So do you kind of like have a list of things, like you mentioned the sleep, if you're waking up kind of tired all the time, then this can help. But like, what are some other symptoms people may have where they can really benefit from this?
A lot of just aches and pains, overall aches and pains can be helped, particularly with something like the red light therapy. We also offer compression, which is going to help pump, for circulation. So any type of circulation or lymph movement that we can do is going to be beneficial for aches and pains. But I feel like the energy is honestly what most people come in here for. And I think that's honestly twofold in how it's beneficial, in that not only are the modalities actually beneficial for their whatever it is that you're looking for, like the red light therapy is going to be beneficial in energy with the ATP production. And sauna is going to be beneficial, everything, with the movement and the circulation. However, I think also just giving yourself 25 minutes to just come and sit and not have to do anything, not have to be going to the next thing, thinking about the next thing, sitting in traffic, doing laundry, doing, all the things that we just stay on the go so much and so often throughout our day until we pass out at the end of the evening, that even that, I think we probably underestimate the importance of being able to have this time that's away from the home. One of the things that we are looking to do in our compression and our PEMF is to have meditation that people can do in there. And that's because, looking into it, you can actually just go to places to meditate. And part of the benefit is, again, just being outside of your normal environment. So you're not trying to meditate in the bedroom where you sleep and, all this other stuff. The kids might be coming in and whatnot, or at work when you're trying to take a moment, or even in your car. It's outside of your normal environment. And so again, I think we underestimate how beneficial that is to come in, walking through a nice calming space. We've got very subdued, very quiet kind of environment and decorations here. And I'm going to set you up on your service, and then I'm going to walk away, and I'm going to give you that time to just unwind and not think about anything else. And again, I think that's probably a very underestimated benefit.
Okay. Now, when it comes to the future, where do you think the future of wellness is going?
There's so much. It's so exciting. It really is. That is one thing that I'm really looking forward to. We've done some IV therapy in here. We have some frequency staff. I would like to see, there's a lot of frequency type equipment that is being tested and being sold at the time. And so I know that we will explore more of that as we go, and have been exploring it and trying to see what will end up being the right fit. But there's machines, there's sounds, there's vibration. I think a lot of that stuff is definitely sooner. It's going to be popular sooner than we might think.
And with the future in mind and all, what is the vision you have for your business?
We would like to expand eventually. Again, we've only been open for just under 4 months now. So we're, getting established, getting all of our systems in place, and eventually we potentially will go a little bit bigger and get more room for working out potentially, but we'll see.
Okay, awesome. Well, Tonie, I do have one last question for you, but before I ask it, I do want to point people to your website at solvitaspa.com. Now, last question for you. What does beauty mean to you?
To me, it is kind of that energetic base, because I feel like, somebody that can be stereotypically beautiful, energy can do a lot to that one way or the other, and vice versa. But I feel like the warmth that can come from somebody's energy is beauty, right? It's kind of like the nature, the flowers and the trees and the plants. And I don't know, maybe that sounds a little woohoo, but I feel like everything can exude kind of that energy, and that's beauty.
Got it. Well, there you have it. Tonie sharing your expertise. So Tonie, where can people contact you in your business?
At the solvitaspa.com, number 503-521-7979. They can email at frontdesk@solvita.com. I'm always available.
Awesome. Well, Tonie, this is great. Thank you for coming on, and thank you for sharing your knowledge.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Thanks for listening to the Beauty Talk podcast. Any questions, please contact the practice directly with the contact information provided during the show. We'll see you again next time. Bye for now.